Welcome back to Alchemy Support Services YouTube channel. My name is Erin, if you haven't seen my previous videos. I want to discuss today about accessing the NDIS. So this is more for not the business side of the NDIS or providers, but more the participant's view. Maybe you're a support system for a participant or an eligible participant. Or if you're a support coordinator and you've had people come up to you and ask you questions, or any kind of ally to people with disability, or if you have a disability yourself. So accessing the NDIS is a lengthy process at the moment, but I wanted to break it down in steps that are a bit more tangible and make it more accessible to accessing the NDIS, because with statistics, there's 4.4 million people in Australia with a disability, and only 500,000 people are accessing the NDIS, which is a tiny amount of people accessing funding. So I think that really shows how many people are trying to access it, but it's just not tangible, or it's too much, or it's just too overwhelming, which I understand. There's a lot to get through, but it's just taking it step by step. You know, at the end of the day, it might take a year, it might take 3 months, depending on what you already have, what information you already have, and if you've been recording that information. But yeah, I just want to help more people access it, because it does improve lives, it does improve independence, and it does improve mental health, physical health. And yeah, so I wanted to start off with that. So the NDIS actually has a really good eligibility calculator on their website, which I'll link below. But just like a quick rundown of who is eligible: you have to be under 65 years of age and over 7 years of age. You have to be an Australian resident or the right visas to access the NDIS. It's also a requirement to have a permanent disability, so you can't break your leg and access the NDIS. It has to be what they classify as a permanent disability. They also have this listed on the NDIS, what a permanent disability is. And you also have to be diagnosed, obviously, with this disability. It has to be evidence-based. You've got to prove that you have a disability that is permanent. Once you have been diagnosed with a permanent disability, to access the NDIS, this disability has to impair your everyday life, so you need assistance to complete everyday things. You know, technology, support workers, intervention, prevention, so like psychologists, occupational therapists, osteopaths, anything that helps you live your life and that you need to live your life. Between the ages of 7 to 16, this is classified as early intervention, and you have to prove that you've got a permanent disability, and that this early intervention is to provide more capacity building in the future. If we put these interventions in place now, this is going to help you in the long run, which is very beneficial. Just with anything, if you start things off earlier at a younger age, that becomes easier later in life. So that's actually a really good one to get onto really quickly. Have these prevention measures in place to help you live your best life in the future. You now apply for an access form. So this form is just general information about you, your supports, your clinicians, your diagnosis, your history, who helps you, just background of yourself. So it's just general information. And another form, which is supporting evidence form. This form is a lot more detailed. This form is also, I would say, the most important in you gaining access to the NDIS. So in this form you have to detail your diagnosis, the impacts of your diagnosis, so what is going to help you in the long run and what will happen if you do not get this help. The clinicians or the health professionals in your support team will also put together treatments, equipment to help you, what that will do to help you and assist you, how this disability impacts your daily life. So this will also highlight to what extent do you need support in everyday living, like how many hours of support do you need? Do you need to be helped in the morning, or do you need to be helped at night, or do you need 24-hour support and care? This is also determined by the health professionals and what they detail in your supporting evidence form. Examples of health professionals include general practitioners, psychologists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, neurologists, psychiatrists, physiotherapists, and orthopedic surgeons. Anyone in the health professional industry that you have come in contact with, I would be getting all the documentation that they have of you, all the assessments that they've done, and I would also get them to write in the supporting evidence form. They have questions for the health professionals to fill out, and I would ask them to do it in great detail. Just detail everything. Even if you don't think it's relevant, just detail everything. More information is better information. Yeah. It is also beneficial to mention that these health professionals have to be working with you for more than 6 months for them to be on the supporting evidence form. If you're having a little bit of difficulty getting all this evidence together and it's a bit daunting, or you've never seen a health professional before, the NDIS has a good resource of local coordinators, and these people are put in place to help people access the NDIS and just walk with you step by step of getting these forms together, because they do take a long time to get together, especially since you want it to be as detailed as possible so you get the best possible outcome. I find when people do rush these forms, they don't get accepted, and I would reach out to these people. They are there to help you. I'll leave like a little tab where you can access local area coordinators. They're free, it's all funded. But yeah, I'd definitely look into that if you're having trouble by yourself. Once you've figured out that you're eligible, you've filled out you've applied for the access form, you filled that out, and then you've gathered your supporting evidence form, all the attached documents, you then email it to nat@ndis.gov.au, which I'll leave down below, and then you just have to wait for your outcome. They will send you an email back of the result. I'm not sure what the time frame is at the moment. I know they've got a bit of a backlog in all areas, so I would just stay patient with that. Maybe following up a few times. You're going to get an email back of your identification number, so then they can track your application. But if you do get an email back and you're unsuccessful, and you know that you should be successful, like you know you need this funding and that you do reach the requirements, I would figure out why you weren't successful. Maybe there was some evidence lacking. Get feedback of them and ask them to explain why you weren't successful. Maybe they might say your disability isn't permanent and you know it's permanent. Just go back to a clinician, try and get that evidence put together, and then wait 3 months and you can apply again. I would apply again. Don't be discouraged and just keep trying. If you know you're eligible, then you should be accessing the NDIS. It's there to help you. So yeah, I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, please ask me, or if you want any other information about any other topics, let me know and I'll be sure to answer them. Yeah, I hope everyone has a good day and see you next time.